Cosa udarebia kurial. Sababu nimepatikana na mfono watachukua. Mniokoe. Miro le la sonde peri akal sonde chiyadi na kapatka.
Marivik? Give me lighter. I don't think there is a human rights in this world. No way. Maybe in Europe, but not in the Middle East.
Not all opportunities are worth pursuing, you know. Some opportunities will lead to your doom. Like this mad rush of young African girls walking into perpetual exploitation in the Middle East. Of all the places you could go to as a young black woman, you choose the Middle East, willingly walking into modern-day slavery, subjecting yourself to all manner of inhumane treatment, to have you working continuously with no days off, subjected to physical harassment, and even sexual exploitation in a lot of cases. Some of these countries have reduced the worth of these young girls to the point where they are now being openly displayed on mobile apps for sale. I was especially surprised to see girls as young as 16 being traded between households online. They are being advertised like used home appliances and sold. And it's like the more this is talked about, the worse it becomes. So these agents here were generous enough to sit down with the BBC to discuss how they aid these African girls in their quest for greener pastures in the Middle East. Watch.
السوق الأردني على الغانيات بالدرجة الأولى أحسن من كينيا. أنا بالنسبة لي
أحسن من كينيا؟
أحسن من كينيا.
نحن كينيا أحلى.
لا أنا بقول لك هلا شوف الكينية تعليمها أعلى. هدول الشعب لهم بيضوا هارد وركر. أنا بعت لك آخر جروب وصل شو المحلاوة؟
إيه هودي إيه.
صنع 11 بنت إياها.
إيه بعقده شو. خيي هيك يوصلوا كمية غير شكل.
You are welcome here. And you have a good choice that you have Mr. Yusuf. He's one of the best agencies in Jordan.
Thank you, Dad.
When a so-called agent stares at your photograph and says aloud, "She drives you crazy," you can bet he or his clients are after something other than your services as a lead. Else they wouldn't care much about your looks. Sounds like something a pimp would say, you know? And so these girls are scouted and recruited by these agents. Their passports are confiscated upon arrival in these countries. That way they have complete control over the girls. Then they are sold to clients as housemaids. And we all know what goes down in those houses. Best case scenario, you're overworked with very little pay. That's the best case scenario. Some of the girls are abused to the point of near death and then deported back to their countries by the government. Talk about being complicit. Some also face sexual harassment.
He came where I was sleeping and he told me, "I want you." And I told him, "No, I can't, I'm married." And he told me, "You are in my house, you have to obey my rules in this house."
I was feeling confused, even I was wishing I would die. It was hard. I don't want to remember it.
And in nearly all cases of abuse or harassment, the culprits are never brought to justice. They easily get away with it. Their countries more or less cover for them. This is a video of two undercover BBC agents in Kuwait infiltrating and exposing the online slave market in that country. This bit is a bit long, we'll probably have to watch it together.
عم بتصل فيك مشان الشغاله المحطوط على الانترنت عندك.
للامانه الشهاده لله ما اساسها بيها زينه ولو دققتها الساعه 5 الفجر ما تكشف نفسها وزينه.
فينا نشوفها؟
In the Gulf, women employed as domestic workers are being sold online via apps approved and provided by Google and Apple. It's been called an
It's
online
literally a slave
market.
market. Look at the ladies being listed.
Our BBC News Arabic team posed as a husband and wife looking to buy a domestic worker in Kuwait.
Ready?
Yes.
An app called For Sale is used to buy and sell domestic workers alongside cars and TVs.
فينا احنا اثنين نحكي.
Imagine being listed alongside cars and television.
The BBC team spoke to 57 users of For Sale who were selling their domestic workers online for thousands of
For them.
pounds. Most women
A lot of
had
these
no
girls too are
knowledge they were being
teenagers, by the way.
advertised online and then sold.
عندها فكره ان هي حتنتقل على مكان ثاني او ما عندها مانع بالموضوع؟
لا انا قلت لها
ما قلت لها؟
ما عندها مشكله واحده جايه تشتغل.
App users were violating national and international law on modern slavery, human trafficking, and forced labour by selling these women. They were also denying domestic workers their basic
I'm
human
surprised
rights.
they even have such laws.
بتاخد إجازة؟ لا إحنا ككويتيين ما نخلي صراحة إحنا مجرمين.
اوكي. بالنسبة للموبايل
Unless this is a misinterpretation, she just admitted to being a criminal.
يعني هذا من النوع اللي مو متعلم فاهمني؟
يعني ما بدها تتكلم مع اهلها مثلا، اذا بتتكلم مع اهلها او كذا.
يمكن مع اهلها تعطيكم مرة في الشهر.
والقانون ايش بقول طيب؟
القانون احنا ما نمشي على
It's not the only app being used to sell women online. The BBC found hundreds of domestic workers for sale on Saudi app Haraj and Facebook-owned Instagram.
كيف حالك اخي؟ ان شاء الله طيب.
The undercover team arranged to meet with some of the sellers in person.
ان شاء الله بخير. بخير. الله يسلمك.
One of them, who told us he was a policeman, urged our team to break the law by confiscating the domestic worker's passport and denying her any time off.
شو بسوي بالمرور شرطة والنعم سيدي والنعم.
جواز ما تعطيه انت كفيلها. ليش تعطيه جواز؟ ما يصير.
والله ما بعرف، انا مستغرب، انا بالنسبة لي مستغرب يعني هيك.
جواز تخش عندك تجوري.
اوكي.
حق طباخ حق تنظيف حق كل شيء.
هيدا نحط الإعلان من ساعة.
A new ad appears on For Sale. An African domestic worker for
I think this is the little girl, the
$3,800
16-year-old girl. $3,800.
ألو مرحبا. كيفك شكرا. عم بتصل فيك بخصوص العاملة الأفريقية على فور سيل.
أنا شارونس وبنت حلال وشوشة. ما تطلب شيء وآدمية.
في مجال شوفها أتعرف عليه أنا وزوجي هون، هو هلأ حد عم نتصل فيك.
حياكم الله.
شكرا.
The undercover team get ready to meet the seller.
First exit.
Nothing could prepare them for what happens next.
انت وجه الاسئله انا عسلت.
اي لا انا بدي اتعرف عليها. الو. مرحبا.
الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك.
تمام وانت؟ هاي.
والله العظيم ما تعرف الزعل. شوفي هذا بابا هذا ماما. اسمها اسمها عربي لانها مسلمه.
من غانا ولا من بنين؟
انا انسى من كذا ما اعرف. غانا غينا مدري شنو.
من وين؟
ها؟
غينيا. اوكي.
وكل الناس تبي الخدم.
اكيد.
بس قدر الامكان نبي لها بيت خفيف.
قد ايه عمرك؟
شوفي ماما هذه ماما هذا بابا.
قد ايه عمرك؟
اقول لكم الصدق اتركوا الاوراق. اقول لكم الصدق يعني عشان ترى عمرها 16.
We're shocked to find this woman offering to sell us a child. The young girl seems withdrawn and confused.
كلمة ويا ماما.
Je vais te parler en français. Tu as quel âge? Combien? 16 ans.
مسكينه ايه حسيت انا شوي هيك شي واز انتيوز شوي هيك.
هلا هي بتستحي صوتها ما بيطلع كثير بتستحي.
So this girl was later rescued and deported. And when the BBC team, I believe the same team, followed up on her in Guinea, she seemed very happy. And she described her coming back to Guinea as feeling like coming back from slavery at just 16 years old. By the way, I can't emphasize that enough. Girls that young are being tricked and thrown into this industry. It's crazy. But how is this happening? But this is what the authorities in Kuwait have to say about this whole trend going on in their country.
We show our video of the underage girl to Kuwaiti authorities to see if they can help find her.
هو ضد القانون. لا يجوز له أصلاً أنه هو يتنازل عن العمل. المفروض كان واجب من صاحبة العمل هذه ما تتداول بهذه الطريقة. أي واحد يتعامل بالمسترجع احنا قاعدين يعني نوقع عليهم العقوبات. احنا هذا الفيديو راح نبتدي نبحث عنه يعني.
You know, I find it laughable how we are supposed to believe that the authorities had no clue this was happening until the BBC team came into the mix. They had no idea. Thousands of girls listed on multiple apps, and it slipped right under their radar. Even in Ghana here, something like this would take some drug less than 24 hours to begin investigations. And yet this industry was able to thrive so publicly for so long. in such a developed country as Kuwait, and it had to take the intervention of international journalists, not even local journalists. What are the local journalists doing? It took the intervention of the international journalists before this came to the awareness of the state. Yeah, right. They didn't know. He also claimed that the culprits would be punished, as this practice was illegal in their country. According to the BBC team, they weren't punished. Now, this may sound a bit harsh from me, but I honestly feel like if you find yourself in a situation like this, then you kind of brought it upon yourself. We already know how these people are in these countries. It's no secret how they hold or regard Africans. I only feel sorry for the children involved. How is it even legal for a child to fly out of the continent to work as a maid? Who is letting them out? Anyone can just march into your country and sample women, your children, for slave contracts abroad. When you have useless governments, this is what happens. And no African politician or state appointee is losing their jobs over this. So there are scams on both sides, both here in the continent and in the Gulf. And as usual, it is the poor and vulnerable that suffer the most. Our innocent children. Wild stuff.